The State Department has no comment, neither does the CIA. Georgia Senator Johnny Isakson is on the Foreign Relations Committee. He says the administration is accountable, he's demanding answers, and he's out front tonight. Senator Isakson, thanks very much for taking the time. And as we can report, this is a very late reporting here that we have tonight, but the intelligence community is saying, look, we made the changes. They were substantial, but we made them. Do you believe it?
Well, it's the first I've heard of it, Erin. You got me on a surprise, but I know Director Clapper very well. I'm not going to question his word, but it's a little late given all the testimony we had. We had late September briefings with Director Clapper in the room where no such admonition came out. So I'm a little bit surprised, but somebody's got to finally up and fess up as to what was happening. It wasn't Susan Rice. It was somebody in the administration or the Intelligence Committee that changed it, and we know it wasn't David Petraeus.
And do you think it's possible, the question I asked there at the top, that anyone at the White House could have known the full version of events or possible series of versions of events? And yes, they were handed an edited a version, the same version which, of course, Ambassador Rice received, but they knew that there were alternative ones that included a link to al-Qaeda, that said the movie was not responsible, and that said it was pre-planned, not spontaneous.
For the administration to admit that it didn't know or wasn't informed of information the director said he had, it's hard for me to believe, and it means the administration really wasn't on top of their game. You know, the most important issue we've got here is a U.S. ambassador was murdered. First ambassador we've lost since 1979. 3 others were killed. We were incapable of defending our embassy, and we didn't have advanced intelligence to know the attack was going to take place. That sends a horrible message to our diplomats, and we need to know why the administration tried not to look the other way and tried to go into Nevada, tried to not pay attention to what somebody in the administration knew was already a terrorist attack.
If it turns out that the DNI altered, as they said, substantially altered the talking points, and they were the ones that did it, does that mean that Clapper should do what? Keep his job, not keep his job? I mean, wouldn't that mean he's responsible?
Well, you know, I heard Director Clapper's testimony in the late September secured briefing that we have. I can't discuss that, but nothing came up about any scrubbing of the information before it went to the White House. My colleague, Senator Chambliss, is the ranking member on the Intel Committee. I'm sure with this now coming out, he would want to know why the director didn't say it originally and later did say it, and why he did that.
So let me ask you about what the White House says in terms of their version. As you know, they said, look, we only changed one word. Instead of calling it a consulate, we decided to call it a diplomatic facility. So they're being very careful of, yes, when it came into our hands, we only touched one thing. Do you think that's reasonable or not?
You know, everybody's trying to parse around words around the situation. If Director Clapper has come forward and with what he has said is absolutely accurate and he did change the information, we need to find out if the White House really did know that, and if they did, why they allowed it to happen. And once again, ask ourselves the question, why did we not have the intel in advance of the attack to know it was going to take place? Right. And why were we incapable of surrounding that ambassador and protecting his life?
97 House Republicans, sir, as you're well aware, signed a letter to the president urging him to not nominate Ambassador Rice for Secretary of State. And the letter says, I just want to quote it here in part, "We believe her misleading statements over the days and weeks following the attack on our embassy in Libya that led to the deaths of Ambassador Stevens and 3 other Americans caused irreparable damage to her credibility both at home and around the world." Is there any scenario where you would support or vote for her nomination for Secretary of State if he nominates her?
First and foremost, we've got to get to the bottom of the truth. You don't shoot the messenger and feel the self-satisfaction you solve the problem. If we find out she read what she was told to read, had no other information to the contrary, we need to get to the root of the problem. But until this is worked out, until we know all the facts, we don't need to have a nomination coming before the Foreign Relations Committee.
Even though at the time there were many who were questioning already, just, you know, sort of on gut and what they saw, that spontaneous was an inaccurate word, you know, that maybe she should have questioned those. Would you at all question her judgment, or no? Truly believe if she was the messenger, she is innocent in all ways?
I've been around the president long enough when he was in my party to know that when you're asked to go on the big top 5 news shows on Sunday morning and you're given talking points, you don't question them, you read them.
All right. Well, that's good. And I think fair that might lead you to that conclusion. So is the final word, sir, that you are not satisfied with where we are right now? If the DNI intelligence community is the one that did all the alterations, that's not the final say in your mind. You want more investigation still?
I think we need to know why he didn't say that in the briefing that took place in the secured environment at the end of September. long past now. I think we need to know why later he came forward, and we need to know why the White House didn't know, and if they didn't know, why they should have known.
All right, well, thank you very much, Senator Isakson. We appreciate your taking the time as we continue to try to find out exactly what happened on September 11th.